Hello guys, welcome back to side quest time. The final side quest, some of the very amazing final side quests of this wonderful game. Last time we did some very emotional Torgal, Joshua, and Jill oriented side quests, and today we're going to do some more with Vivian. We're going to learn a little bit more about the history of the bearers and how all of that came about, them being in the situation that they are now. An excellent quest with Doris, as well as Harpocrates and Dion. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching. See you in the comments. In search of a lost tome. Reluctant as I am to add to your burdens, I would ask you aid in a personal matter, albeit one that may be beneficial to your cause. There exist ancient texts deemed so injurious to modern thought that mere possession is indeed a crime, and it was a chance to encounter with one such tome from a distance that sparked me with the scholastic curiosity which burns to this very day. I wish to enlist your aid in reclaiming that text. Should you require further incentive, know that I'm willing to offer compensation for services rendered.
Something tells me this is no mere adventure story.
Alright. Speed running through these side quests.
First the skies.
Oh, where am I going?
The advent of great.
Let's talk to Josh real quick.
Brother, I put Father's helm in your chambers. He should be with you when his vision is finally realized.
Thank you, Joshua. For everything.
Don't mention it. Clive.
Ask about Father. He always tried to spur me on, to give me courage. I knew his words were meant with kindness, but as a boy they cut me deeply. How keenly they made me feel my own weakness, my own inadequacy. It was only after we lost him that I realized he believed in me. He only wished that I would believe in myself. Father's words have been to me as a torch in the darkness, banishing the fearful shadows and illuminating the path ahead.
His flame burns in your heart.
Brother, as it does in mine, and it is that flame that shall continue to light our path all the way to the very end. Also, even with the devils of time against you, never let the fire fade within you, brother. Zanzibar White, thank you for gifting a sub to Bale. Ask about Origin.
This is it then, brother.
Our last dance with Ultima awaits. Only the Founder knows what awaits us up there.
Indeed.
But whatever we find, we shall overcome it. It would not do to disappoint our friends. They all believe in you, Clive. They would follow you to the ends of the earth if they could.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. My friends don't follow me. They spur me on. I couldn't have made it this far without them. Nor without you, Joshua. You gave me your blessing and made me your shield. Without you, I don't know how I would have even survived. Even when we were apart, you were always there with me, and I trust you'll be with me now until the end.
Of course.
Whenever that may be. Brilliant.
To the end, brother.
To the end. Hopefully, that end will not come for a very long time, but... well, we shall see.
Vivian, I read your note, and I'd be happy to help you find the book you're looking for.
Thank you, Clive. But tracking it down will not be easy. Are you sure?
Please. You have always granted me your wisdom and insight whenever I asked. It's only right that I return the favor. Or at least attempt to.
You are too kind. Alas, what I ask of you is rather more trying than delivering the odd lecture. I spoke with Harpocrates to see if he had any inkling as to where another copy might be found, but perhaps it is best that you hear the details from him.
If you say so.
Forgive me, Clive, for asking this of you. But this book, it set me on the path to becoming who I am today. Its importance cannot be overstated.
Let's go see Tomes. Tomes. You've always thought that Annabella was feeding Joshua something to keep him sick, weak, and dependent on her. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I would not be surprised.
Ah, Clive, my boy. What a pleasure it is to see you.
Harpocrates. There's something I need to ask you. I've been charged with locating a book called From a Distance.
Then you seek a rare gem indeed. One whose name I had not thought to hear from your lips. You've been talking to Vivian.
How did
Right
you
as
know?
always. But she didn't seem keen to tell me very much. I take it she didn't like what you had to say.
And yet I gather it did naught to dissuade her. Clive, if the young professor has tasked you with obtaining a copy, I fear she asks the impossible. The executors would not allow it.
The executors?
Covetors of Secrets, a clandestine organization committed to the collection and intenebration of forbidden texts and technologies. One
Music
such
got all
text being
spooky.
the tome Vivian seeks, chronicling as it does the true history of the enslavement of bearers. A tale which could overturn the established order were it ever to become widely known. Or, so rumor has it. I've never actually read the thing, or even set eyes on it for that matter.
How is it that I haven't heard of this organization?
Why, secrecy is the executor's watchword. They lurk in the shadows, emerging only to seize that which must be seized, be it books, inventions, or people, before disappearing again, leaving nary a trace.
Which would explain why Vivian's copy was snatched from her grasp not long after she found it.
By the hand of the executors, yes.
But what drives them? Self-interest or ideology?
A fine question. Sadly, all that is known of the executors can be recounted in a single breath. You may just as soon ask me of their origins, numbers, or the identities of their leaders. Any answer I give would be pure speculation.
Then my hunt was doomed from the first. What was Vivian expecting? That I'd pluck it from thin air?
Not from thin air, no. From ash. Rumors of the executors are rife among the scholars of Storm, but rather less so across the strait. I have a friend. Well, I had a friend in the village of Garnick, a collector of rare tomes, upon which subject we would oft correspond. Alas, I have heard naught from him since the skies fell dark. And no doubt he, too, has turned. But, though he did not mention it by name, it is possible that a surviving copy of From a Distance yet rests upon one of his many shelves, quietly awaiting discovery. If you were, by some chance, able to save even a single book from the poor man's library, I know his soul would rest easier.
Very well. When I next find myself in Waloed, I'll be sure to pay Garnick a visit.
Wait, so he had this friend that he would talk about the ancient texts, and this friend, he presumes has this book with this like world-changing knowledge, and he never once asked him to like read its pages? Oh yeah, this thing that could shake the very core of our existence. That the executors don't want anybody to know about it. Oh yeah, I think my friend has it. Just in his house. I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of weird. A complete botany of Banes. Aterphotida, or tail of wyvern, white of flower and black of root, the latter of which gives out an inky gall when cut or crushed. The tribesmen of Southern Storm prick their skin with oaken needles soaked in such, drawing curious patterns about their arms and legs in honor of their heathen gods. The gall is passing toxicate, that a single drop taken by mouth may result in cramps most painful for 5 days and 5 nights, or, if applied to a wound, certain death. Should a slip of the needle end a young warrior's life, it is said that his skin print failed to find favor among the heavens.
His interests were certainly varied.
Royal Intelligencer Training Report. In the wake of the tragic fire at Cair Norvent in 873 V and the subsequent depletion of our most highly practiced intelligences, all mainland strongholds were instructed to redouble training in clandestine maneuvers, improvised weaponry, and assassination techniques, and dispatch promising volunteers to Stonehere for inspection. This report details progress made by the stronghold at Garnick in reinvigorating Waloed's ranks of esteemed intelligencers.
This is a Royal Army logbook. Did he take this from the local barracks?
The folklorist's fabulary. The Moogle. No spirit or sprite appears more often in Valician folktales than the humble Moogle. Though they are occasionally painted as mischievous souls akin to pixies or imps, most stories depict them as clumsy yet congenial spirits who delight in helping mankind with their daily labors. They are said to have sweet tooths, leading to the common superstition that one must not leave cakes or other sweetmeats uncovered overnight, lest not remain but crumbs come morning. In appearance, they are described as being covered head to toe in soft white fur, excepting the small, dark wings by which they are somehow able to take flight, and the brightly colored pom-poms that protrude from the tops of their heads. And yet there is one detail regarding the Moogle that most find more remarkable than even the orb that tops its brow. The fact that the creatures actually exist. Preposterous, I hear you cry. Everybody knows that Moogles are the stuff of legend. I quite agree, but every legend has its basis in truth. In the case of the Moogle, the fact may be not so dissimilar to the fiction. Ancient bestiaries list the white mole whose feet do not touch the ground among the beasts of the realm, and the illustration beside the name, why, it is none other than the Moogle. Of course, it is true that the creatures are not known to still survive in the Twins in the modern day. Perhaps their miniature wings carried them to other climes, perhaps they were hunted to extinction, or perhaps, just perhaps, they do still live among us, hidden away from human view. Well, we know the Moogle at the hideaway cannot be seen by anybody except Clive, but it's not because he's trying to stay hidden. He was happy to find somebody who could, like, hear him, see him, for once. From a Distance, Chapter 16, The Fall of the Bearers. Is this the one we're looking for? The emergence of the first magic adepts was widely heralded as a gift from the gods. Indeed, the title with which those with the gift came to be commonly known is more likely a contraction of bearer of the heavenly blessing, the wording used by the tribunes at the time. Those born with the blessing were lauded as living crystals and granted high office and plentiful reward for their status as chosen ones. This is exactly what I was saying from the start. They should be, like, you know, of a high position with their powers, but instead it felt so strange that they were made to be slaves. So, let's see. Let's see what happened. Over the years, this reverence for their kind would become a full-fledged religion led by the bearers themselves. A development that would prove fateful. Or fatal. I mean, I guess either way works probably. A development that would prove fateful. The diverse nations of the time were unanimous. Diverse or diverse? Maybe diverse. The diverse nations of the time were unanimous of their disapproval of the founding of the church. While the authorities had for years welcomed bearers into positions of power in their own structures of state, they were mistrusting of an organization led by bearers for bearers. Efforts were immediately made to chasten the church and its followers, banning members from holding office, evicting adherents from their homes, and breaking up meeting by force. The church responded by forming a volunteer army to resist this persecution, and yet it continued, creating a cycle of ever-increasing bloodshed and rancor, and a growing rift between those born with a blessing and those without. What began with beatings and street clashes would eventually spill over into an all-out war that consumed the greater part of the twins for nigh a generation and decimated the population of men and bears both. The deluge of blood that stained the land crimson and left an even more lasting mark upon the minds of the Valisthian people. After the bears' last resistance was crushed, the nation of Valisthea came together to sign the Continental Accord that initiated the system of slavery that persists across the realm to this day. Its well-known phrase, "bearers are other than human," has its roots in the bitter war of the years before, being the unblessed's only excuse for their calamitous refusal to allow the blessed to decide, or the blessed to decide their own destinies.
This is it. But if what it says is true, I need to get this back to the hideaway.
Interesting. Are we gonna have a fight? So, they were lauded as, like, important people, well sought after for their powers and given, you know, positions of power and such. But then they made this church to, like, worship themselves. And normally, I don't know how churches are founded normally, but I don't think it's like people usually, putting themselves as the objects of worship. It probably, in my mind, and mind you, I don't really know much about, you know, different religions and how they come to be and stuff. It's not something I ever really put much thought into, but usually it's like people taking something else other than themselves and deciding to worship it. That's more a cult, yeah. So some certain bearers made maybe not the best decision to try to create this church, and it led to this war, and then the Continental Agreement was made, and people's they urged, like, people, the people of the Continental Agreement or whatever, the Accord, they put it into people's minds that bearers were the other, that they were lesser, and so that's how this all started. Yeah, those bearers had to go and ruin it for everyone. Oh, I bet the executors are gonna show up.
Leaving so soon, stranger? We've been watching you. From a distance, so to speak.
You don't say.
Subtle. I know who you are.
Then we need not waste time on introductions. Hand me the book. Leave it in our care and return to your life.
Your care? Do you mean to burn it or bury it?
That is not my decision to make. But by one means or another, its contents shall be removed from the common record.
Then I'll have to politely refuse. I won't let you erase our history.
Then we find ourselves at an impasse. Very well. The book can just as easily be pried from your dead hand.
Do you know who you're dealing with here? I don't think you do. I don't think you understand.
Let's see, shall we?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I just upgraded my... this. Wait, let me do this first. No, I don't want to lock into that guy.
Too slow. Let's try.
Oh my god, I can't see anything. Locus, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Bunny Brigade. We're happy to have you. What am I doing? It's over. Hello, M1 Garand. Welcome. Clutch mine.
Impressive. But we have other means. We shall claim the book yet.
Okay.
Why do you want it
You got
so
something
badly
else
anyway?
to throw at me? I'll take it
It
on.
lays out in no uncertain terms the vanity and avarice of mankind. It tells the shameful history of the persecution and oppression of a gifted few by a giftless many. Would you say that this interpretation was correct?
I don't know.
You don't know. Your sword may be sharp, but your wits are dull.
Ooh, ouch.
So let me answer for you. There is no correct interpretation of history. That a series of events took place may be proved beyond a doubt. But there can be no single, immutable explanation as to why they came to pass. It is a question of numbers and of belief. If enough people believe that a set of events occurred for a reason, that belief becomes the truth.
So you're trying to control the truth?
We are trying to protect people from themselves, from knowledge that would bring them naught but pain. That is all. You may keep the book, for now. The world is small. We shall meet again. Until then.
Wait. Damn it.
Where did he go?
Let's get this back to Vivian. Perhaps she can explain what that was all about.
Why does this need to be kept hidden? When this knowledge confirmed the status quo that bears were at fault? Unless the executors would rather bears be forgiven and freed, in which case killing Clive seems really counterproductive. Well, I think what this might bring to light, if it got out, is that, sure, like the bears were maybe at fault for the actions that those particular bears did, but the lie that has been engraved into everybody's minds since forever, that bearers are lesser beings, is shown here to not be true. That's just something that they made up to try to get people to be on board with bears being slaves, is what I think, maybe. Okay, but let's go back to Vivian and see what she can tell us about all this.
Vivian. I found it. The book you lost.
Okay, from a distance, no mention is made as to the name of the author, whether that is because the title page has been lost to time or because the tome was published anonymously. It is impossible to say.
You found it. Thank you, Clive. Even though I asked this of you, I was not entirely sure it would be possible. I feared the executors had seized every copy.
I met with one of these executors, and I convinced him to let me keep it. He told me something. That the truth is just a matter of collective belief. And that if enough people believe a lie, that lie becomes the truth.
It does. But it also means that the truth is not immutable. That it can be changed. Provided that those who wish to change it can convince enough people that their perspective is the correct one. As the sad history of the bearers proves.
You said that the book inspired you to become a scholar.
It did. Or its author, rather. She was a heretic, you see. A firebrand and a dissenter. A gallows stood ready for her in every corner of the realm. And by shunning society, or perhaps being shunned by it, she stumbled upon a truth so potent that an entire realm trembled at the prospect of its utterance. I, too, have always felt somehow set apart from the world of men. A stranger to my own species. She taught me that my solitude was not a curse, but a gift. And that, though my journey to the truth might be a lonely one, what I found at my destination would be more than worth the cost.
Do you still feel that way? That you're not one of us?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure anymore. Since coming to the hideaway, I find my thinking somewhat clouded. Perhaps the result of studying mankind from a rather closer perspective than I had intended. But the more I study, the more I find value in this perspective. In looking not from the outside, but from within. So if you'll permit me, I'd like to continue my work here. Remember, Clive, when enough people believe, belief begets truth. Give the men and women of this benighted world the gift of truth. Make them believe in you, as I do.
I'll try, Vivian. I'll try.
Pretty fascinating stuff. That's actually something I'm very glad that we got to learn.
Back again?
Let's ask about the executors. Truth is but a matter of belief. I certainly don't disagree. Though I am surprised to hear that an organization such as theirs holds such enlightened opinions. They put the scholars at the university in Canver to shame.
Alas.
Alas, they shame themselves in turn by bearing evidence of a truth they would rather mankind did not come to know. They may imagine themselves the protectors of the people, but ignorance is not bliss, no matter how fervently they might wish it.
I do so enjoy our little chats.
Me too, Vivian. Me too. Sometimes. Let's talk to this guy, a Cursebreaker Nazir.
Sid, I was wondering if you could help me.
It depends what with.
A bearer, but recently freed from his bonds, is keen to join the Cursebreakers. As you know, the work we do is not easy, which is why we test every volunteer's suitability. I was hoping you could oversee this one's evaluation.
I don't mind, but why this one?
Because he wants to be a scout. Our ranks are filled with men and women capable of breaking chains and putting slavers to the sword. But scouting, we're few with the nose for that, which is why we still rely so heavily on Gav. And since he accompanies you on so many of your missions, I thought you might be better placed to recognize the traits in him that we should look for in those who'd fill his boots.
Sounds reasonable.
So you're happy to oversee the boys' test, then?
Sure.
One can never have too many scouts.
Truer words, Sid. I'll let the initiate know that you'll be attending his trial, and that he is to proceed directly to Northreach in readiness.
No time like the present, eh?
No time like the present. I'll await you there.
Okay. I appreciate this promptness, Mr. Cursebreaker, because...
Northreach.
Yeah.
I don't suppose they could have chosen somewhere closer.
Well, lucky for you, Clive, you can just click your heels 3 times, say there's no place like Northreach, and then there you will be.
Nazir might at least have mentioned where in Northreach he'd be testing this recruit.
Clive, a little grumpy.
I'm nervous.
Why didn't he pick somewhere closer? Why didn't he tell me where to meet him? Roar, roar, roar.
Well met, Sid. This is the initiate. Ember, present yourself.
At your service,
Ember,
Master.
huh?
Please, just Sid. There are no masters here. Your life is your own.
Oh, of course. Thank you, Sid. The sergeant says you'll be evaluating me at my trial.
To become a scout, yes. You are aware of the dangers inherent in that role.
I am. But I swore I'd face them. Just like the man who saved my life.
Who would that be?
Gav. It was him who found me and freed me. No magic, no support, just one man and his nose. Came and sniffed me out. It taught me what one man can do if he puts his mind to it. And I've been training ever since, so that one day I can be someone's saviour, just like Gav was mine.
Okay, I can get on board.
I'm sure he'd be flattered. You clearly have good intentions, Ember. And it sounds like you're under no illusions. Stick to this path and you'll make a fine Cursebreaker.
So, what? Have I passed?
You haven't even started yet. Now listen. Not far from here is an Imperial lookout, Eastwatch. The guards there record all their sightings in a logbook. You are to find it and bring it here.
And bring it here, right. Anything else?
No. Sneaking into a heavily guarded Imperial outpost and stealing the logbook would be quite sufficient. You will need to assess the situation, determine a point of entry, create a distraction and effect an escape, all without being discovered and thrown into an Imperial oubliette.
Ember, Gav isn't our best scout because he can do everything. It's essential that you know your limits.
Know my limits, right. I won't let you down.
Is he gonna be okay?
It shouldn't be as dangerous as I made out. But keep a weather eye on him all the same, would you?
On my way.
Shouldn't be.
All right, Ember. Impress me.
Shouldn't be that dangerous, but I mean, it did sound pretty dangerous. Right? Oh, just go into a heavily guarded stronghold. All by yourself. I mean, he's been training, right? This is his final test. It's not like he's not practiced things like this before. Is what I would assume. Is what I would hope. Like, they've given him all the training needed. He knows the strategies that he can employ, yada yada yada.
These are clean kills. Perhaps young Ember really is ready.
Okay, so he can kill dogs.
Thanks, Gal.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Maybe not. Damn it.
Oh.
Ember, draw your sword!
I can't.
Then run! If you want him, you'll have to go through me.
Poor Ember is about to piss his pants. Can you imagine? You're on a scouting mission for your test. You think it's gonna be easy. Because that's what I was getting. He's like, oh, that's all I have to do? Anything else? Okay. Alright, I'm on it. I'll be right back. Like, he didn't seem like, oh gosh, like, this is like really scary kind of thing. And then you're doing your thing. This huge like wyvern comes. You're so scared you can't move. And then all of a sudden Clive comes and starts using all these iconic abilities in front of your face, like summoning freaking Ramu lightning bolts and shit. Can you imagine? Like, for us, it's like quite video gamified. We're used to this kind of thing. But to be in the position of these people to like see this would be pretty freaking amazing.
You're finished.
And then he just takes it out in like 30 seconds. Shiva, Ramu, Bahamut, some fire. We punch him with our rock fists and he's dead. That was you after your first week of training at the office.
Ember, are you...
He gone.
Of course. Scouts really are a rare breed. Back to Northreach it is then.
Clive passed the test. Congratulations, Clive. You're now a scout. Well, he was able to sniff out the danger and get out of there once, you know, Clive started taking care of it anyways. It'll be quicker if we just did it like this.
I didn't expect you back so soon. Where is Ember? How did he fare?
He didn't come back?
Thought I'd find him with you. He must have fled. I followed him to Eastwatch, where I found him being set upon by a wild Avis. He was just standing there. Didn't even draw his sword. I had to step in and take care of things. But by the time I had, He was nowhere to be seen. I assumed he'd set off in your direction, but apparently not.
I'm sorry, Sid. I knew the boy had a nervous streak, but he seemed like...
The right man for the job? I believe this is the logbook you tasked me with retrieving.
He's like, I got it.
How did you...
I passed.
Don't you tell me you breached the tower while Sid was busy saving your skin.
Well, yeah.
Wasn't that what you asked me to do? To bring the thing back without getting caught?
He has you there, Nazaire. And he did it all on his own.
That's where I figured he went
Sid,
if he didn't come back here.
He did what he thought was best. And now I have to decide whether I agree.
Of course. We'll await your evaluation back at the hideaway. Don't you leave my sight.
Yes, Sergeant.
This guy has such a laid-back attitude.
This won't be an easy decision.
I say give it to him. Why not? What, because he couldn't fight the freaking Evis? Like, who could besides Clive, you know? But he used the opportunity to complete his task. I mean, what's wrong with that?
You should have seen.
Oh, crap.
Welcome back, Sid.
Wanted to hear that.
Welcome back, Sid.
Yeah,
Thanks. Hi.
welcome back.
Hi,
Sure it
Otto.
wasn't too much of a pain in the arse, I hope. Truth be told, it was me who suggested roping you in to help with the trial. But from what I hear, things didn't go quite as planned.
They rarely do.
No, they most certainly did not.
Does Ember deserve passing marks? Who could say no to this guy? He came back all proud like, I did it. Isn't this what you asked for? Yes.
Ember lost his nerve in the face of a beast of prey, but he didn't lose heart. He pressed on, and he achieved his aim. And is that not what we ask of our scouts?
Indeed it is. Thank you for your honest appraisal, Sid. The fact remains, however, that Ember will not always have a battle-hardened warrior on hand to pluck him from the jaws of peril. All I have gleaned from this trial is that without someone watching his back, Ember is little more than a liability.
Wait, Sergeant. Ember still has much to learn, it's true.
That was
This
harsh.
time he was found wanting. But I'd say he's due a second chance, nonetheless. After all, he did do as you asked.
With a bit of hard work, any hand can be made to hold a blade, and any mind can conquer its fears. But a scout's nose is different. You've either got one, or you ain't. And by sniffing out that log, young Ember here has shown he has a conk and a half.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Wasted now.
Honk and a half.
Fine. One more chance.
I'll do whatever you ask. I'll spend
guy.
my days and nights in the pit if I have to. I'll show you. Just you wait.
He's so earnest. I love it.
Daft as a brush, that one. But his heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
Just like someone else we know. And if you ask me, we've been leaning on him for far too long. That time the curse breakers took some of the weight off his shoulders, I reckon.
It couldn't hurt.
Just don't tell Gav I said so, will you? I won't have him thinking he's been hard done by. Next thing you know, he'll be asking for a day off. Chance would be a fine thing. Back to work.
Forgive me, Sid. This did not play out as I expected.
Things rarely do these days. But that's why we need men like Ember more than ever. Men who can make the best out of a bad situation. Remember that.
I will, Sid. Thank you.
I understand why Nazaire here is being so harsh, though. And being so particular with who he allows to, like, pass the test to become a scout, because I'm sure if Mr. Ember or anybody else who he deemed was fit for the role went out and got themselves killed, he would feel quite responsible. You know? What if I found myself facing down a monster with just a sword? Dude, I'd be running the heck out of there. I know my limits. Alright, we're making some progress. 6:30. Whew, okay.
Sid, do you have a moment?
By all means.
It's my old master. Seems there's no escaping her. She found some way to send me a letter. And something else. Records from a Waluda prison. Seems they were keeping a lot of bearers there.
How did she come by such a thing?
Finding bearers always was her strong point. And it seems the cells of Balmung Dark are full of them. Foreign captives, the masterless. Bearers no one would miss. And even better for her, bearers with no one to look after them. When ether started lapping at the walls, the jailers fled.
Leaving the bearers to be liberated by whoever happened to come along next.
Sid, I'd like to believe that I've earned your trust by now. And while I'm well aware that you've forbidden Cursebreakers from traveling to Waloed, I can't let those bearers die in their cells. I'd rather risk shipwreck on the Shadow Coast than leave them to starve.
I thought her former master got put in jail or something. Is she like loose, doing whatever she pleases?
We'll be needing the Enterprise if we're going to navigate the Narrow.
Does that mean...
I'm making an exception, but we travel together. And we stay no longer than we have to. Ash is an inhospitable place at the best of times. We save as many as we can, and we leave.
Thank you, Sid. There was a name in the prison register. A name from my past. Chadwick. Another of my former master's protégés. A gifted soldier, and the closest thing I had to family. The thought of him held captive in that place.
He must be very important to you.
He was. Is.
Then we find him.
The entrance to the prison lies in the shadow of Ravenwit Walls, just beyond the portcullis. We should head there as quickly as we can. I only pray there are still bearers alive to save.
As do I, Doris.
All right, let's go. We got some fighting up ahead. Exciting. Hey, brosif. Oh, this place. Oh, okay. I was wondering when we would come here.
Doris is waiting for me near Balmung Dark. The longer she's out in the open, the more likely she is to be found by a Kashyyyk. I need to hurry.
Titan!
Go team, go! I need to restock on potions after this. Oh, one of these guys, huh? Lit. these bomb things. Here we are. Oh, we're gonna fight something big in here. You know we're gonna fight something big.
There were no guards, I take it.
None manning the gates, no. It's a different story inside, though. The corridors are crawling with Akashic. Most likely guards left behind when the wardens ran. If Chadwick was being held here, I worry that he may already be.
Don't give up hope just yet, but let's move quickly. Let me check the ground floor. The ether stick is there.
Then I'll search the upper level. Good luck, Sid. Stay safe.
Should I be
Just how bad are the
afraid?
floods inside the walls? Bad enough to turn a bearer? I hope not. We're risking a lot just being here. Better keep my eyes open for signs of life.
How do we get in?
Out of our way.
What's this? Balmung Dark, Writ of Designation. The Kingdom of Alud hereby designates this facility a prison for the detainment of bearers both foreign and domestic. The purpose of this facility is to rear and train a Kuza beast for deployment in the field. The aforementioned purpose is a matter of strictest secrecy, and any mention thereof is to be punishable by death. Captive bearers have been provided solely for the pursual of the aforementioned purpose. Express permission is required for use of bearers in any other capacity.
So this place was no ordinary prison. And I doubt they'll have taken the creature with them when they fled.
What do they use the bearers for exactly? Right, we gotta stay on our floor. Recommendation concerning Kuza beast deployment. The Kuza has long been recognized as an especially aggressive species. This being the case, it was hoped that successful deployment on the battlefield might be a means of inflicting heavy casualties on the enemy. In exercises conducted this far, however, the beast has proven incapable of distinguishing between allied and enemy combatants. As such, deployment alongside regular troops is not recommended. It is proposed instead that bearer captives be employed in order to draw enemy focus, and the beast then driven into the fray in order to achieve maximum benefit with minimal loss of Waluda lives. So they just use the bearers as...
Minimal loss of Waluda lives. And what happens when they run out of bearers? Even the Imperials take better care of their branded than that.
They're just there to lure the, opposing army out and, just be in the middle of this fray in between the Kuza beast and the armies. Ugh. Memorandum on Kuza beast feeding. Recent supply shortages left us with insufficient resources to feed the Kuza entrusted to our care. Fortunately, the creature was observed to kill and consume the bears assigned to fight beside it in a mock battle conducted as part of its training. The beast was further observed to enter a state of visible contentment upon feeding in this way, suggested that live bears may even be its preferred source of sustenance. While this behavior is unexpected, it is not unwelcome. Bears no longer of use for training purposes can now be repurposed as required. Ugh!
Bears to it. This is even worse than I'd feared.
Jeez. What the hell?
Caching down here. Hopefully things are looking better upstairs. I should go and see how Doris is getting on.
Very dark. This is very dark.
All right. It's over.
What was he doing up there? Thanks, bro. Good job. Good looking out.
No luck downstairs. But I did find out that this place was more than just a prison. Something far more sinister was happening here.
I know. I've been reading some of these documents and... it can't be true, can it? Bearers die every day in service of their masters, but this is so much worse. Pitting bearers against a wild beast armed with nothing but their wits? And all in order to bring about more death.
Yep.
And not just those who could fight, but the elderly, children even. And those who wouldn't or couldn't were disposed of. Whatever that means.
I'm afraid.
It means they became lunch.
It means they were fed to the monstrosity they kept here.
Then we're too late. And I was a fool to bring you here.
Don't say that. Did you find anything else?
A key. But it doesn't fit any of the locks on this floor.
Perhaps it will fit one of the doors downstairs. There's a corridor I haven't searched yet. Finish up here, then come and find me when you're ready.
All right. I'll be there in a moment.
Okay, we got the jailer's key. What? Oh, that was weird. Whoop. Knew it was gonna do that. Nope, no matter.
Let's see what we can find down here.
Oh my.
A survivor. sounds close.
Who are you?
There's no need to be afraid. Are you alone? Are there any other survivors?
Some of the guards. They're still here. But something's wrong with them. Everyone else was eaten by the monster.
Of course there were.
Thank the Founder.
It was worth our coming. But I'd rather we didn't linger. Are you ready?
Ready when you are. You poor thing. He must have been terrified.
Did Chadwick send you?
Hmm?
What?
He fought the monster. Distracted it so I could run away. He must have sent you. He promised to free the others too. Where is he? He opened your cell, didn't he? He wouldn't be here otherwise.
Chadwick.
Don't give us hope. Oh.
Was that?
Yeah, probably.
Monster's
Unless
back.
Chadwick's really hungry or something.
Help!
We have to get out of here.
Doris, keep the girl safe.
All right. You put that bearer-eating bastard in the ground.
I will. I hope. Unless he puts me there first.
We have to run.
It's out there waiting for me.
Ah, it's
I
so
can't let it
big!
Not if it's got a taste for bearers.
Oh no. How do we get inside here? Right here? Hi. You're a big boy, aren't you? I wish I restocked on my potions. Who's the beast? He's rank A, though. I mean, he's not a rank S.
The beast will wreak havoc if it ever leaves the prison. I can't let that happen.
Ooh. Vomit. Oh boy. Alright, he's down, he's down. Keep going. Damage. He's almost dead. Not too bad. Not too bad. Got a behemoth shackle. That was a fun fight.
Finally.
Alright, where's our guy?
Are you hurt?
I'm fine. I think.
Is he in the belly of the beast? Chadwick?
No.
What is it?
A diary. I gave it to Chadwick before we went our separate ways. He was here. Do you think that creature?
I'm sure he fought bravely to the last. The girl is safe thanks to him.
Chadwick. You fool.
Come on. We have to get her back to the hideaway. We don't want his sacrifice to have been in vain.
No. Of course not.
Yeah, I don't
I'll see
expect...
that she's looked after from now on. It's the least I can do.
I don't expect any normal person would last very long against that thing.
From what I hear, you've barely left the girl's side in days. I hope she's recovering from her ordeal.
She is. Slowly but surely. She's far tougher than she looks. I thank the flames we found her. If we hadn't...
I know. But we did. I'm sorry we weren't able to save Chadwick.
There's no need to apologize. Without your help, I would never have found out what happened to him. How he fought to the bitter end to save her. To save Haida Marie. That's the man I remember. The man I thought of as a brother.
I wish I could have met him. I'd like to hear more about your past. If you don't mind, that is.
Of course. You already met my former master. She trained Chadwick and I to do two things. Kill and obey. We were supposed to be sold to the highest bidder when the time came. But no bid was ever high enough to convince her to part with us. For years, we were her daggers in the shadows. But we could never quite shake our doubts about the things she made us do. And then, one day, we just couldn't do them anymore. So we escaped. But staying together was out of the question. They would have found us too easily. After so many years of training, the pull to serve was always strong. It scared me to think he might have taken another master, become a dagger in someone else's hand.
But even in captivity, the battles he fought were his own. And he died not as someone's tool, but as a hero.
Haida Marie is proof of that. Bearers can cast off their shackles. And the Cursebreakers will show them how. I'll fight until my dying breath to see it done. For Chadwick, and for all of us.
Thank you, Doris. We'll be counting on you.
Damn, can we get a happy ending now? That was... Oof. Just feeding bears to that thing, using them as bait and just throwing them out on a battlefield between a freaking behemoth and an enemy army. It's crazy. Whole again. Clive, it occurs to me that a single word of thanks does not nearly suffice to express my gratitude for reuniting me with from a distance. The tome made me who I am today, and yet I thought that I should never set eyes upon it again, that those who took it from me had forever robbed me of a part of myself. But now I am whole again, thanks to you. I regret that I can only fill in the gaps in your knowledge, and not the holes in your soul, for which reason I shall ever be in your debt, Vivian. Oh, maybe Doris went back to Martha's Rest. Well, maybe we'll see her when we get there. Yeah, it's a good point. Making amends. Master Clive, I am aware that there are matters of much greater import than which demand your attention, but should you find yourself a moment, I bid you visit me in the shelves that I might ask a single favor concerning His Highness, Prince Dion. Yes, I would love to.
It's usually me making demands of Hippocrates. I wonder what this is about.
I wonder how I'm gonna go about putting this stuff on the YouTube, because I've been trying to be selective with which side quests I edit into the videos, because I want to like keep the story moving as much as possible. But I mean, like, all of these are good. Am I just gonna have like 5 hours of side quests on the playthrough? I don't really know what I'm gonna do. Just add them all.
Lawsman Hippocrates, I received your note.
Ah, yes. I expect you're wondering what this is all about.
You spoke of making amends with Dion, but I can't imagine what for.
Then I should begin by telling you that I was once his tutor.
Oh?
This was some years ago, of course, before I joined Sid in his hideaway. At that time, I was counted among the foremost scholars of Oriflamme, and was accordingly invited to the palace to supervise the young prince's education, all to ensure that the future emperor had a firm grounding in, well, everything an emperor should. History, religion, commerce, government. Alas, our time together was cut short when Dion left to join the Dragoons, his studies no longer being deemed necessary. I had not expected to meet with him again, least of all here.
Have you spoken with him?
No, I have yet to find the right moment. His Highness always seems so preoccupied, especially when alone. I would not wish to disturb his ruminations with idle words of greeting, not when I know he dwells upon the evil Ultima had him commit in the Dominion.
The guilt weighs heavily on him, I know. But as you say, that was Ultima's doing. Surely you can't blame yourself.
When I first met him, it was not guilt, but his people's expectations that weighed heavily upon him, and I did nothing to ease that burden. He bore it alone, until the day he could not bear it any longer. It is one of my greatest regrets that I only ever offered him my wisdom, when what he truly needed was friendship. The blame for Dion's transgressions lies not only on his shoulders, but on mine.
I don't know.
See? I'm ready to help you in any way that I can.
Then I beg that you bring me a wild wyvern tail. Apothecaries across the ages agree that even to glimpse such a flower is to be granted inner solace. Fabulists and fraudsters all, of course. But there is oft a seed of truth to be found where even the most outlandish opinions align.
Well, it can't hurt to try. Where can I find this flower? And how will I know it?
You have seen cultivated wyvern tails before, I trust. The lily-white blossoms from whose roots the poisonous ink for the brand is distilled. Well, those which grow in the wild differ only in their purple hue. The harsher the environment in which they are raised, the deeper the color. There is a waterfall in Rickmal's roost across the strait, where the flowers once grew in abundance. Whether they still survive there, I know not. But try as I might, I can find no likelier location.
It's all right. I'll find you a wyvern tail one way or another.
Thank you, Clive. And please, be safe.
So we got a little bit of information about the wyvern tail in the when we were over here. Finding what's his name? At Garnick. So the wyvern tail, isn't that the same flower that is the Sombrek symbol? Of this, the symbol of the Holy Empire of Sombrek? Interesting. Interesting that their symbol of their empire would be something that's so... It's used for such dastardly things. The poisonous ink that they put on the bearers when they brand them. Interesting. Let's go, team! Oh man, I didn't get more potions. Ugh. I need to remember to do that when we get back to the hideaway. Hopefully we won't be fighting something too crazy out here. Ooh, it's very flooded with ether over here.
Seems this place has been flooded twice over.
Yep.
Purple flowers blooming next to a waterfall. Shouldn't be too hard to find.
Here's our waterfall. Oh, there's our flowers. I think we're gonna have to deal with this guy. I don't think he's gonna last very long.
Here they are. Might as well pick enough for a bunch, I suppose.
You know what? Let's just go back to Harpocrates, because when we hand it over to him, we'll be able to read about it. Probably be quicker than trying to find it in my menu.
Oarsman, I found the flowers you were looking for.
You did?
Did you doubt me? Okay, wild wyvern tail. Records suggest that the wyvern tail was first cultivated for the purpose of distilling a purple dye from the petals. However, when the tended blooms were discovered to lose their hue over time, the gardeners of early Valisthea made the fateful decision to investigate the practical properties of the roots instead.
You did indeed. My dear boy, thank you.
You wanted to make Dion a gift of one, did you not? Shall I invite him to join us?
Oh, I don't...
Don't be shy.
I'll go and fetch him.
Don't be shy.
Your Highness, would you do me the honor of accompanying me?
No. It is time, then.
No. Only to the shelves. Our lawsman has something he'd like to give you.
Master Harpocrates. No. I dare not show my face before him. Not after everything I have done. I have taken countless innocent lives. And ruined countless more. All because I was weak. I have sworn to atone for my crimes or die in the attempt. But were I to meet with him again, and see in his eyes what I have become, I fear that my resolve might falter.
Then that is all the more reason to do it. Test your resolve. Prove to yourself, and to him, how strong it truly is.
You are right. I must, at the very least, offer him my gratitude. Very well, then. Take me to him.
Follow me.
And everything that he did, even though he wasn't his fault, really weighing heavily on him.
Even now, I hesitate to approach him. What must he think of me?
You'd be surprised.
Master Harpocrates, pray, accept my apologies for leaving your tutelage before my studies were complete. Your lessons opened my mind to a world quite unlike the one I had imagined from within the gilded confines of the palace. And I shall be forever grateful for the efforts you made to enlighten me.
Lift up your head, Your Highness. The deeds of youth require no apology. That you took the time to visit me says much about the man you have become. Now, there is something I would like to show you.
Is that a wyvern tail? The color is unfamiliar to me.
Because it is unique to those found in the wild. Something in the harsh environments in which they grow lends them this striking hue. Their roots are indistinguishable from those of their hothouse cousins, but once they bloom, the difference is immediately apparent. In this flower, I see you, Your Highness. Its roots were the roots of a wyvern tail, with all that implies. But they do not define it, just as yours do not define you. I want you to have it, that it might remind you of this truth.
Master Harpocrates, I would ask of you a service. Keep your gift until I have fulfilled my duty to the realm, for only then shall I be deserving of it.
As you wish, Your Highness. I shall await your return.
I'm guessing neither of them expect that he will return at all.
Our roots do not define us. No wonder my stepmother didn't like him. For reuniting me with memories I had thought long lost. I shall not forget this.
Man, Dion is such an intriguing character. I just want to see more and more of him.
Thank you, Clive. Were it not for you, I fear I might never have found the right moment to speak with him. Not to mention the wyvern tales. I shall plant their seeds, that I might not disappoint His Highness upon his return.
I hope the soul in the hideaway is to their liking.
Why, these flowers bloomed in the bleak, black wastes of Waloed. I'm sure Nigel's yard will suit them to a T. When it comes to expressing one's gratitude, I find that words are seldom sufficient. Here.
What's this?
A stolas quill. Or more precisely, my stolas quill. 'Tis said that an owl's feathers are steeped in the wishes it hears over its long lifetime. All those words just waiting to pour out onto the page. So consider this my wish for you. That one day you may put down your sword and pick up that pen.
Well, when that day comes, I'll certainly have a lot to write about. Thank you, Harpocrates. It shall have pride of place in my chamber.
Ooh, okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Reduces Gigaflare cooldown time? Oh boy. Okay. The quests are definitely quite good. Oh, wait, hold on a second. We gotta talk to everybody involved afterwards, see if they have anything to say about it.
Knowledge hoarded is knowledge lost.
Ask about Dion.
I well recall
the time I spent at the Imperial Palace instructing the young prince on the history of our realm. He was quite unlike the other noble-born children I had taught, not only for the keenness with which he listened, but for the earnestness of his conviction.
He truly believed
that it was the Empire's duty to serve the people, and was determined to study the past, that he might not repeat its mistakes. Which is the reason why what befell Twinside weighs so heavily on his soul. Yeah. He must live with the consequences, and I fear it will take more than merely time to heal such wounds.
It will take forgiveness.
It will take forgiveness, not from you or me, nor his countrymen, not even from his late father, no.
From himself.
From himself. Only then might his flower bloom again.
Go safely.
High Ultimate's darkness. Dion has the biggest guilt in this game. He was goaded into doing that revolt and killing his own father. He hates himself for it. You agree that you wish you could spend more time with him? Yeah. He just genuinely seems like such a kind-hearted person who just wants to help people, but damn, he's had a rough time of it.
Ifrit.
Your resolve didn't falter.
No. Though I continue to be bewildered by fate. But I should meet with my old tutor here. At the very end of the world. I thank you. With all my heart. For giving me this chance.
And I thank you for taking it.
Should like to look upon that flower once more. When I am worthy. I stand ready to leave for Origin at your word. May Griga go with us.
And see us safely home.
Yes, all of us, including you, Dion.